welcome back to the Hammered Leatherworks studio. Today we're going to be making one of our new mini kits. It's called the Whisk luggage tag. Some people have said to me, why do we call it Whisk? Because we want you to whisk it away on an adventure. So this is the box. You'll see when you get it that you'll have a real leather sample on the front, and inside the box there'll be all the small things, 3 precision cut pieces. 2 of them are leather, 1 of them is plastic, that's the lining, and your instructions, which is that one there. So I'm just going to put this one aside and we're going to get on to making our luggage tag. So in your envelope you'll have your needle, thread and hardware. The only other thing you'll need is a pair of scissors. Voila! So our first step is to sew the plastic cover into the luggage tag along the, it's quite difficult to see, around the holes on this straight edge opposite the end. You'll find that when you lay it on top of the leather piece that all the holes will line up. The piece will be slightly smaller, which is good because it won't show once we've stitched it up. But we're going to sew this seam here through the center. If you haven't watched our stitching video 101, now's a really good time to hit pause and go and have a look at it. So we're going to measure our thread. 1, 2, 3, 4. And thread our needle. Now for this seam you don't start between the layers because that would just make it bulky for when we fold the luggage tag over. So we're just going to start from the bottom, a second hole in from the end, and we're going to do our our 1 needle method saddle stitch, up and down again. So we're going to finish the seam by putting 2 stitches in the last hole. That's going to secure the thread before we knot it off. So just go up that second last hole and back down again. There we go. And then turn your work over and you're going to double knot the 2 ends together. So left over right. And then we go right over left, like that. There we go. You want to trim it so the tails are about 10 mil long. You don't want them too long because you don't want them to poke out. You also don't want them too short because then if the knot comes out at any point, then the thread's going to slip. So now we're getting to a really exciting part. Now we fold the luggage tag in half and we're going to sew the 2 side seams. So take what's left of your thread and fold it in half like this and cut it into 2 pieces. Thread the needle. Now we're going to sew the sides together. You can do this in any order. You just need to make sure that when you sew it together you catch the leather, the plastic and the leather. So we're going to start from between the seams so we can hide the knot that we're going to use to secure the thread. And I tend to like to go backwards before I go forwards on these little projects. Otherwise, these long and skinny pieces, it can be easy to move them around and miss a hole. So I find by doing it this way, you can really anchor it in position. There we go. So off we go, all the way to the end. So here we are, we've gone all the way to the end and come back, and all of our holes are full on the top side. If you look underneath, there's just one more hole gap to fill on the bottom side. So I'm going to come up that hole there. So there we are, that side and that side. So our next step is to put the double thread in this hole. So there we go, we're going to go through. Gives us our double stitch. Now on this side, because we started between the layers, when we put the double stitch in the opposite side, we're going to go through only one layer of the leather and come up in the center. That way our tails are both hanging out on the same side. We're going to tie our knot, just as we did before. Trim our tails. Tuck them in to the seam. They'll stick. What happens is with the wax linen thread, they'll stick to themselves. Oops. And just give it a pinch. There we go. So now we're ready to do the other side. We take the piece of thread we cut in the earlier step, thread it into our needle, and same as before. So we're going to start from between the layers. Leave our little tail hanging out so we've got room to knot. Anchor our end. And off we go. We're going to go all the way to the end and come back again until all the gaps are filled. Okay, so here we are back where we were before. We've filled all the holes on this side. If we turn it over, we're one hole on this side, so we're going to go through that hole and pop up on the other side. Put our double layer of thread in by going through this hole again. There we go. Turn it over, and as we did before, to put the double layer of thread in this hole, we're going to push the needle up, but just through the one layer of leather to the center and pull. So we've got two thread layers there, two thread layers there, and both of our tails hanging out the middle, sandwiched between the two pieces of leather. So as we did before, we're going to tie a knot in it. Cut our tails. Tuck them in. And now we're on the home stretch, because all we need to do is add the strap, which is really straightforward. You're going to take the little screw out of the back of the post you got in the kit and push the screw up through the flap in the front of the luggage tag. And then you're going to screw your button on top. Oh, it's going to look like this. If you want to be really sure that your button's never going to move, you can put a little bit of craft glue on the screw, and I mean just a really tiny bit. It'll just hold it really securely. So you'll notice now when you open this, you've got your plastic sleeve, and when you open the end, you've got room to get a business card or a piece of paper with all your details in there on it. If lost, please return to Hammered HQ. So we're going to take the strap and we're going to pull it through this way. So that's currently pulling through with the suede side up, because the strap will turn on itself and thread through and push onto the button. Just like that. There we go. That is our finished luggage tag, and now you're ready to go on an adventure. Make sure you share your project on Instagram, #HammeredLeatherworks, so we can find you. And we'd really love to see where you take your luggage tag, so make sure you add a photo. Thanks for watching, and if for more tutorials, check out our website, hammeredleatherworks.com.au.